In this video, I'm going to talk about the IRS Form W4 for 2020. And this is going to be for single, no dependents, the super fast way to fill this thing out. I'm also going to go through the paper version, then I'm going to go through the online estimator, and then I'm going to show you how to calculate your taxes. How much tax are you really paying? Now, I'm going to put in the description at the bottom the times to all three of those sections so you can just jump right to the section that you want to watch and make it as fast as possible. And if you're also looking for a different variation of the IRS Form W4 for 2020, I'll also leave that in the description at the bottom, as I've done a ton of other videos on the W4. Now, before we start, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, Certified Financial Planner, helping you reach your financial goals. If you need a fresh copy of the W4, I'm also going to put a link in the description so you can print out one if you need it. So I'm going to pull up on the screen the IRS Form W4 for 2020. So this is going to be a super fast walkthrough. Remember, the online estimator is the most accurate way to fill this thing out, but I'm going to go through the paper version. And if you want to go on to the online version, the online estimator, just keep watching and we'll go right into it. So starting with the paper version, this is where you want to start right at the very top. Go ahead and fill out your basic information with your name, last name, social security, address, city or town, state, and zip code. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it for you. So those are the sections that you want to complete. Now, because this walkthrough is for singles only, then I'm going to go ahead and check off that first box. Now for the middle part of this form, steps 2 through 4 only if they apply to you. So we know right off the bat that we're filing single and we only have one job and no dependents. So step 2, we can go ahead and skip because none of those apply to us. Step 3 is going to be claim dependents. Now in this walkthrough, we're not going to have any dependents, so I'm going to go ahead and skip this section. But if you do have dependents, go ahead and fill this out or go watch the other IRS Form W4 video to see exactly how you should fill out step 3. And step 4 is also going to be something similar. Now with A, B, and C, let's go ahead and go through them. With A, if you have other income, not from this job, including interest, dividends, or retirement income, then go ahead and put it in section 4A. So let's say that you had dividends of $250. You're going to put $250 right there. Otherwise, you're going to leave it blank. And if you don't have interest, dividends, or retirement income, then you're going to leave 4A blank. Otherwise, go ahead and put the amount that you have in interest, dividends, or retirement income. The next section is step 4B for your deductions. Now there's a worksheet on page 3 for the deductions worksheet, and this is going to include, and it says it right there, the deductions are going to include qualifying home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, state and local taxes, and medical expenses in excess of 7.5% of your income. So let's just go through an example. Let's say that we've added up all of that information and we determined that it was $5,000. So we're going to put 5,000 on line 1. On line 2, enter whatever applies to you, and that is going to be the $12,400 if you're single or married filing separately. So we're going to put in $12,400. Then it's going to ask if line 1 is greater than line 2, subtract line 2 from line 1. If line 2 is greater than line 1, enter 0. So we're going to head and enter 0. So basically line 1 has to be more than line 2 in order to use these deductions. So if line 1 is greater, then go ahead and put the math there. So then we can go jump down to number 4, enter an estimate of your student loan interest, deductible IRA contributions, and certain other adjustments. So these are the deductions that are going to help further reduce your taxable income above and beyond the standard deduction. So let's say that we went ahead and put $6,000 into our deductible IRA, also called a traditional IRA, but we're making a deductible contribution to that traditional IRA. The Roth IRA is not a deductible IRA because it's after tax dollars contributed into the Roth IRA. So if we put money into that traditional IRA, let's say $6,000, we're going to go ahead and put that on line 4. Now line 5, add lines 3 and 4, enter the results here and put that in steps 4B. So we're going to go ahead and add it. Well, obviously 0 plus 6,000 is 6,000. So we're going to go ahead and put 6,000 right on page 1, and it's going to go right there on 4B. So let's say we put 6,000 on 4B. Now, line C, extra withholdings, isn't going to be calculated on this worksheet, but if you did the online estimator, which we're going to do next, and you needed to make an adjustment to your total withholdings because you didn't withhold enough or anything previously, then you might need to play catch up, and that's where the extra withholdings are going to come into. It's also going to show up more on married filing jointly, or if you have other special situations where you need to withhold additional dollars. For this walkthrough, we're going to put 0. And then at the very bottom, we're just going to go ahead and sign it, date it, and give it to your employer. And on the updated version, you don't even need to fill out the employers only section like you did on the previous versions. That's all you need to do, and go ahead and turn it into your employer. So now let's go ahead and jump over to the online estimator. That's going to give you the most accurate results, especially if you have any changes or change jobs or have other income sources. This is going to be the best way to fill out the IRS Form W4 for 2020. So here we go. I'm going to pull it right up on the screen so you can follow along with us. And this is going to be a super fast walkthrough. So if you need the link to the online estimator, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the description at the bottom. So the first section, we're filling this out as single. So check off single. Can someone else claim you as a dependent on their tax return? Go ahead and read the description there if you're curious whether or not you qualify. So we're going to check off no for this walkthrough. Now the next section is dependents. Now we're not going to have any dependents. So we don't have any children or anybody else that we're taking care of financially. So we're going to go ahead and choose no for that section. Do you have income? We're going to choose yes. Choose the amount of jobs. For this walkthrough, we're doing 1 job and we don't have any other sources of income. So we're going to choose no on the pension. And if any of these apply to you, go ahead and check them off. If you want more information on this, then go ahead and leave a comment in the description at the bottom if you have a question about any one of these areas. But for this walkthrough, we're going to choose next. Now for this next section, for the income and withholdings, we're going to go ahead and choose yes, because we expect to hold this job the entire year. If you choose no, it'll give you a calendar and you can choose the dates that you started the job. And if you expect to continue there for the course of the year until 12/31 of 2020, then just go ahead and put 12/31/2020 right on the end date there. Otherwise, choose yes and we can move forward. And even if you do change jobs later on, it's perfectly fine. You can make the adjustment on the next time you fill out the IRS Form W4. Now let's go ahead and put the frequency. For this walkthrough, I'm just going to go ahead and check off twice a month. The difference between every 2 weeks and twice a month is 26 pay periods for every 2 weeks and 24 pay periods for the year for twice a month. For this walkthrough, we're going to choose twice a month. So it's more along the lines if you get paid on the 1st and the 15th, that's going to be twice a month. And then we're going to want to put the date of our most recent pay stub, or we can just check off on the calendar. Now this is pretty important. I'm just going to choose the 15th for this walkthrough. Now, if we earn this year, and that's important because if you didn't start on January 1st, then the amount that you're making on an annual basis might not be the same of what you're going to put here. So for example, let's say you started halfway through the year and your annual salary, just for easy math, is going to be $100,000. But that doesn't mean you're going to make $100,000 in 2020. What that means is on a 12-month basis, you're going to make $100,000. So you just have to do a little bit of math. If you didn't start on January 1st and you're going to work the whole year. So let's say that we're going to earn $50,000 for the rest of 2020. If you have any bonuses, you can put that estimate in here. And if you put it in here and you're wrong and you need to make that adjustment later on, you can go ahead and refill out the IRS Form W4 and then resubmit it to your employer to make sure it's as accurate as possible. But if you only have 1 job, when you're filling this out, it'll make the adjustments for you. So for this walkthrough, I'm going to put 0s for the bonuses. And we're going to scroll down. Now, this next section is really important, especially if you're filling out the IRS Form W4 and you've already had this job for a little while. You need to make this adjustment and go look at your last pay stub. Your last pay stub is going to have your year-to-date withholdings, and that's what you want to put right here. Don't grab just any pay stub. It has to be the most recent one to make sure this is as accurate as possible. Because if you previously didn't withhold enough dollars, this will help make that adjustment so you're withholding the correct amount. So for this walkthrough, I'm just going to make these numbers up. They could be very different from what your pay stub says. So go ahead and look at your last pay stub. So year to date, I'm just going to say that we've withheld $200. And from our last paycheck, we withheld $100. Now that next section is, did you or will you contribute to a tax-deferred retirement account such as a 401k? And it's referring to the pre-tax dollars. So if you have a Roth 401k and you're contributing into the Roth 401k, that is not what this section is asking for. But for this walkthrough, we're just going to choose no on both of these sections. Now for the HSA and the FSA, again, if you do have those are pre-tax dollars. So it's reducing your total taxable income. If you have more questions on that, go ahead and stay till the end of the video when I explain how the taxes work so you can get a better understanding of how deductions work. Let's go ahead and click on next. Now, these are additional adjustments. I'm going to go ahead and click off, go to next step, and we're going to skip these for the speed of this walkthrough. If you want to see more on adjustments, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'll do future videos on it, or you can watch some of the other IRS Form W4 videos that I've already done and have gone through the various sections that might come up in your particular situation. So go ahead and click off next. Now the deductions, we're going to take the standard deduction, and you can see it right there of $12,400. And this is the same thing as the paper version. If you have additional deductions, then you're going to want to go ahead and fill out this section. Otherwise, we're just going to take the standard deduction and click off next. Now, same thing for the credits. If you do have credits that apply to you, then you can go ahead and apply them here, which will reduce your tax liability and reduce your withholdings as well. If you want to see the list of them, see the list right here, and you can kind of scroll through them and look at in greater detail to see if any apply to you or that you could apply for some of these. For example, the retirement savers credit is one that if you have a certain income level and you contribute to your retirement plans, whether or not it's an IRA or the ones at work, then you can reduce your total taxable income even further. So it's worthwhile to take a look at the retirement savers credit and the other credits that are available. So we're just going to go ahead and check off no and go to the next section. So you can see from the information that we put in that we expect tax withholdings to be $2,500, but our anticipated tax obligation is more than that. It's $4,318. So what it's saying is our current withholdings are not enough. So let's go ahead and see what it does for the adjustment. If we scroll down, it'll tell us exactly what we need to do. So it's going to say enter $3 in additional withholdings. Now, if you remember that's on line 4C. And if you remember on the paper version, I skipped that section because there was no adjustments that we needed to make. But you can see that if you didn't withhold enough dollars, that it can make that adjustment for you. So you don't have to owe any dollars. So you don't have to owe money at the end of the year if you make sure that your withholdings are correct. And the nice thing about this estimator, it's already going to fill it out for us. So if we go ahead and click off download the pre-filled W4, we could scroll down and it's already filled it out. And I know it kind of looks blank here because all you need to do is fill out that top section and then go ahead and check off single, scroll down. It already put in the 3 on the 4C. So it's an additional $3. Now that small adjustment is going to make it so we don't owe at the end of the year. So your withholdings are going to be right on based on the information that we already put into that online estimator. Go ahead and print it out, sign it, and give it to your employer. And that's it. That is the online estimator. Now, if there are any other adjustments, they'll come up right on this sheet for you. So you'll know exactly the adjustments that you need to make. So you don't have to go through the worksheets that are attached on page 2, 3, and 4 of the IRS Form W4. So you go ahead and print this out or just take that 3 and put it on 4C or whatever numbers come out on your online estimator. And that is it. Now I want to jump through on how taxes are calculated in a very simplified way, just looking at the standard deduction and the tax brackets. So let's go ahead and jump right in so you can see how taxes are calculated. So I'm going to use the same scenario and I'm going to put the 2020 taxes in this example. So 2020 taxes. And in this example, we're going to go over a $50,000 income level, which is going to be the same as the walkthrough. So you're going to see exactly how it matches up. So we're going to fill it out as single with no dependents. So it's going to be a very simplified version of filling out the IRS Form W4. So with the $50,000, first, I want to show you what the standard deduction does. It reduces your total taxable income by the amount of that standard deduction. And the standard deduction for 2020 is going to be $12,400. So let's go ahead and subtract that from our $50,000. So what we're left with is our taxable income, and that's going to be the $37,600. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So we have our dollars from 0 to 50,000 that we're earning. And the first $12,400 is going to be taxed at 0% because that's our standard deduction. So that's $12,400 at 0% is going to be $0 in taxes. And now let's take a look at our tax brackets for somebody that is single. And you can see right here, from 0 to $987 is going to be at 10%. So that is not the first dollars. That's actually after the standard deduction. So what that looks like is the next $9,875 above the $12,400. So what that really means is it's going to bump it all the way up to $22,275. $22,275. And the difference right there is our $9,875 that we saw on those tax brackets. And that is going to be at our 10%. So it's going to be $987.50. Then the next thing that we're going to take a look at is the next bracket. Is the $9,875 to $40,125 is going to be at 12%. Now that's going to put us over the total income in this example. So what that means is to go from $22,275 up to the $50,000, it's all going to be at 12% because the dollar limit above that, above the $40,125, you would add the standard deduction. That means the remaining amount is $27,725. That is the difference right here. So it's $27,725, and that's going to be at 12%. And that is going to equal $3,327. It's $3,327. So now what we want to do is add those two numbers up. We're going to add this number and this number. So we're going to add the 3,327 plus the 987.50. We're going to add those two up, and it's going to be $4,314.50. So 4,314.50. And if we round that out, 43.15. Now, if you looked at the online estimator, the estimator told us that our tax liability is going to be $4,318, basically a rounding error. So this is exactly how your taxes are calculated. Now, of course, if you have additional deductions, it's going to reduce this number, or if you have credits, it's going to reduce this number. So the deductions reduce your total taxable income, and your credits are going to reduce your tax liability. And that is how you fill out the IRS Form W4 and looking at your taxes. If you have other questions, go ahead and put in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.